I honestly thought this was basic common sense, but since it's clearly not, I guess I need to say what most Americans are thinking. Teenagers, 16, 17, and 18-year-old kids, do not decide government policy and legislation. Teenagers, 16, 17, and 18-year-old kids, are not above scrutiny, they're not above accountability, and they're certainly not above questioning. 16, 17, and 18-year-old teenagers are not the dictators of our society, and anyone who says otherwise is a bully who needs to be censored and banned off the internet. Who in the world told you that was an acceptable or helpful behavior? Because it's not. This creepy narrative of, they survived the tragedy so they can't be questioned or debated, is getting beyond weird. If that's really the case that teenagers and survivors of mass atrocities and national tragedies can't be questioned, where are the survivors of the Las Vegas massacre that left 58 people dead and 851 injured? Why weren't they chosen to be media rock stars and tech company celebrities? Where are the survivors of the Florida Pulse nightclub shooting? How come they don't get to be unquestionable dictators that you get banned for even talking about? Especially after we found out this week, after 2 years, that the shooter's father was an FBI informant of 11 years and he was investigated for money transfers to Turkey and Afghanistan after documents were found in his home June 12, 2016, the same day as the shooting. He was even seen at Hillary's rallies. Imagine if he was at Trump's rallies. It would be on every TV station in the country, but instead, barely anything. And what about the survivors, the victims, and the kids in our cities that have to deal with rampant gun violence? Yet the media never gives these kids a platform. I thought everybody cares about the kids in the city. Why don't they get a CNN town hall? Where are those kids? Why aren't they selected and forced celebrities like the other ones? What about the survivors of family members from the hundreds of thousands of people who die from opioids and pharmacy pill abuse, who die from texting and driving, and all sorts of other national tragedies that kill hundreds of times more people than guns ever will, that nobody wants to talk about because the TV and social media didn't tell them to? Where are all those kids? Point being, if you're a teenager that's going to lie on television, manufacture political marches, curse repeatedly, and forcefully try to influence politics and legislation, then guess what? You will and should be met with resistance, questions, scrutiny, and opposing arguments. And if you want to ban, silence, and censor anybody who disagrees with teenagers, then guess what? You're not a liberal. You're a totalitarian extremist who thinks way too highly of themselves. Especially when the manufacture of march is not to gain more rights for the oppressed, but to take away rights from law-abiding citizens and blame a group who has never committed a mass shooting while calling them a terrorist organization. It's pretty creepy. So to sum it up, yes, teenagers are allowed to have an opinion. Yes, teenagers can yell, curse, fight, and march to try to influence politics. But no, they shouldn't be untouchable and unquestionable. That is an insane, dangerous, and borderline fascist belief that for some reason sheep-like followers think is status quo. It's not. I don't know who lied to you and told you it was, but it isn't. So let's debate. Let's discuss. Let's inspire the youth, and let's take action. But don't try to censor, ban, demonize, and silence anybody that disagrees with a gang of snobby, bratty, and forceful teenagers. If survivors of national tragedies are untouchable, then let's bring back the thousands of survivors and victims that are being ignored and left behind. Thanks for listening, thanks for considering, share this video if you agree, and check the comments to support my news analysis. Much love, peace, and blessings.
I done come up from the basement, on a struggle from the pavement, came up high, I feel Jamaican till my eyes switch to the matrix. We are all just human, shout out